I just get all those vibes when I hear that intro I do with Lakers Weekend. I just like wants to take me back right to the pier, to the beach area, get on a boat, just relax, do a little bit of fishing. But I'm here in Vegas in 105-degree heat. Oh well, can't have everything. JSJ just got back from San Diego Comic Con, and we're back with another episode of Lakers Weekend right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford. LeBron going to Denver. Okay. Man, the Rumorvilles and anything attached to Lakers. Yeah, see, Legend, you just put that out into the stratosphere, into the internet. So you, like Jeremy was talking the other day, I was telling, if I put Jeremy into trade talks as far as the Lakers, now he is part of the Lakers fan zeitgeist out there. I would expect to see his name on Facebook rumors and all that stuff like that, man. Those Facebook rumors, whoever does some of those group sites on Facebook, because I joined a lot of them in order to share this show to a whole bunch of different places. Some of those places just have like just the people just put up the most insane rumors and all that stuff right there. But what can I say? Crazy world we live in indeed. But it is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Of course, I'm also with Inside Sports Fantasy Football and, of course, the Pop Culture Cosmos. In fact, we've got a Pop Culture Cosmos dropping for you on Monday morning for your Monday morning drive. It's an hour clean, filled with all sorts of good stuff as Josh Peterson and I go ahead and talk about the latest San Diego Comic-Con news where JSJ was at. Plus, also, as well, we go ahead and talk about the big win for Marvel as far as Fantastic Four getting some big dough at the box office. Plus, also, as well, Battlefield. We talk about that because they did a major preview last week. They'll also extend that preview with a release date, I'm assuming, later this week when they do the multiplayer reveal at the end of the month. Also, as well, of course, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, which just came out to Xbox Game Pass. And also as well, Rematch, which also recently came out to Game Pass. There you go. See the correlation? Save some money, go to Xbox Game Pass. Spend more money, stay on PS5 and Nintendo Switch 2. There you go. But also as well, of course, we talk about all the good things that are going on in the world of pop culture. And we have our reviews of Happy Gilmore 2. All for you coming up for you, either on YouTube right now, after this show, of course, you can watch on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, or coming up for you folks on your Monday morning drive on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Plus also as well, of course, don't forget to check out the Lakerholics crew. Two of them, one half of the Lakerholics was here on Saturday talking about what was going on in their thoughts on how they thought the offseason was planning itself out. I know that Michael, for instance, was really high on what Rob has done. And Jamie, he was Jamie. But go ahead and check out what they did yesterday on the YouTube channel right here, or it's now available wherever you get your audio podcasts as well. I guess I told Joe I was going on at 10 because I asked him what time I was going on. I said, do you want 9 or 10? He said 10. I said, okay. So I sent the message out to the boys. So hopefully one of them will stop on by. But also as well, of course, don't forget Empire Jeff TV, Lakers and Dodgers info, always there for you as well. Of course, our good friends, @report_court on Twitter for our good friend Stone Hansen. He is still tweeting out there @Alfred Esmond, hard-working journalist out there. Wish him all the best. Hopefully getting him on here soon. Legend. Need to get Legend back on. We missed a week without Legend, so we got to go ahead and get back on to talk NBA here in the not-too-distant future. From I Got Next Sports Media, all these great guys, including Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo, all these great people, all these great places, all these great things. Make sure you like and subscribe. And speaking of liking and subscribing, I know I say it every time, but please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. And if you are a member, you got to see my thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps first, right there. And also as well, Superman you got to see first. And I threw as a little extra tidbit for members, I threw in the video with a full full 1 hour conversation with me and TJ Johnson, spoilerific review on the Fantastic Four First Steps as we compare it to and from Superman as well. Go ahead and check it out if you're a member. It's right there on the YouTube channel for Lakers Fast Break, because you will not hear it on the Pop Culture Cosmos, I believe, for another couple of weeks. So you get a chance to go ahead and get it if you're a member right here of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. What's up, Jeremy? Joe, maybe? No, let him do what he wants. That's fine. He's good. He's good. Joe and Jerry fanboy, Joe and Gerald fanboy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. That's okay. As long as you're watching and you're saying good things, you have your opinions. People disagree or agree. As long as we're respectful to each other, it doesn't matter, because we got such a great community right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Superman was horrible. Well, I gave it about a 7. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was okay. And I thought, Fantastic Four, well, you can check out my thoughts right there in spoilerific details, or you can just check it out coming up here. That's available to you on the Pop Culture Cosmos as well. But only your opinion matters. Okay, no joker, no worries. What's up, my friend? What's up? All good. The Lakers have signed some deals. Speaking of deals, I know what you saw on the JPEG on the actual thumbnail. But before we get to that major source of discussion, I want to go ahead and mention out there that some Exhibit 10 deals for some guys were put out there. And I want to go ahead and mention that, let me see, they've signed RJ Davis, Eric Dixon, Arthur Kaluma, and Augustus Marciulionis. Yes, he is the son of Sarunas Marciulionis. They were all signed to Exhibit 10 deals to get them to camp and then possibly elongate that to stay at the South Bay Lakers, as far as it's concerned. Eric Dixon, we had thought had agreed. They had verbally agreed. We didn't know at the time when Shams tweeted out there just that he had agreed. But I guess it was a verbal agreement on a two-way deal. But the Lakers realized he had a foot injury. Obviously, he didn't get to play a lick of Summer League. So I guess they pulled that out and instead are putting this Exhibit 10 deals because hopefully they can get him into camp. He is the NCAA scoring leader, I think, of the guys that are there, although RJ Davis I thought was solid in Summer League play. Kaluma had a couple moments to talk about. Augustus Marciulionis also had, I believe, an injury as well, so he didn't play in Summer League. But for those guys with the Exhibit 10 deals, I think Eric Dixon might be the one to watch. But the thing is, at 6'8", a reported 250, I wish he would have rebounded better, spent a lot of his time scoring very efficiently. However, he was the NCAA scoring leader, 40% for the college three-point line, but above 80% free throw shooter. So he does have the stroke. Can he bring anything else to the game? We will go ahead and find out, hopefully, in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully, he'll go into training camp, impress, be healthy, start getting some, pardon the pun, footing with the Lakers and be able to go ahead and hopefully get himself to a two-way status. But right now, the Lakers have only one two-way spot and one veterans minimum spot available as of this point in time. So, yeah, Bloodhound, I rated a little bit better. I'll just say that, but how much better? You might have to find out as well on the Pop Culture Cosmos .wordpress.com site as well. But hopefully everybody's doing a great out there. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend or has had a great weekend. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining us. It is, of course, the soon impending arrival of one Luka Doncic. Yes, he is coming back. He announced, along with the Jordan brand, aka Nike, that he said off his Twitter that New York, Chicago, and LA, I will see you soon. So he's going to make appearances in all three places on the 29th, the 29th in New York, the 1st in Chicago, and the 3rd in Los Angeles, which is the most coinky-dink thing as possible as far as coincidences go, because On the 2nd, the Lakers can go ahead and offer him a contract extension for up to 4 years and a shade over $220 million. Am I hosting a dance party? Not to my knowledge. But again, you pay me the right amount here in Vegas, I'll set up anything. Oh, well, I won't say that. I'll set up almost anything as far as it's concerned. You know, you pay me enough money. There you go. But no dance parties here. It's Vegas. It's 105 degrees. You dance, you sweat your you-know-what off. So there you go. But it is, of course, a Lakers fast break. And Luka is going to have his own party, guys, because Luka is coming to New York, Chicago, and conveniently to Los Angeles the day after he could be offered up to a $220 million plus up to 4-year extension from the Los Angeles Lakers. So is it a done deal? Well, according to the reports, I know Trevor Lane correlated the reports from Europe that said he is going to sign and commit to a 4-year deal for whatever that $220 plus million deal is going to be worth at the end of the day. I'm assuming it will be a 3+1 if he does the whole 4 years, because he'll want to go ahead and get out of that final year so he can sign a richer deal at the end of it with the Lakers or someone else. Because at that point in time, the values will go ahead and be a lot larger of what he can sign at. So my thoughts on this, again, we had talked about how if he'd wait, he'd get more money. But this shows, and his interactions as far as his commitment to the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, he was very hurt and felt betrayed by what the Dallas did to him. Obviously, he felt really like done dirty by the Dallas Mavericks and what they did to him. So he is going to go ahead and now with the Los Angeles Lakers, it looks like by all purposes by the end of the week or this weekend, excuse me, be able to go ahead and he will sign that deal. Again, financially, it means more to him if he'd wait, but I think he's going to be just fine with what he's going to be offered here in a little bit. And here today to go ahead and discuss Luka's most likely impending extension is, of course, the man indeed. It is, of course, the guy behind Corrupt on Steam, one of the many guys behind Corrupt on Steam. Also as well, Simblades with a Y.com, and of course, also as well, the Joe Soro channel on YouTube, and also the Joe Soro experiment on Playback. It is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. I know you saw the tweet from Luka. He is heading via Nike to New York, Chicago, and then LA on the 3rd, conveniently 24 hours after he can be offered a contract extension by the Lakers. Is this now just a formality? The word from Europe says yes. It will be most likely a 4-year deal. I'm assuming a 3+1, the value of which will be over $220 million. But if you count it as a value, seeing some of the other extensions, i.e. Devin Booker, which is well over $70 million per year, this could be a great value and a great deal for the Los Angeles Lakers, Joe.
I don't know what the details are on that, but if he was smart, he'd do a 2+1 to start and then sign the real extension in 2 years. But if he decides,
once he hits 10, the magical number he hits is 10-year service. He hits 10-year service. I don't know if that's a 3 or 4. Then that's when he can get some cha-ching.
He's going to get the cha-ching one way or the other, maximizing depending on how you can kind of bet on yourself at that point. That's really what it is. Is he going to worry about possibly getting hurt, take his money up front as much as he can, and then decide on what he wants to do later? But either way, he's not recruiting to go somewhere else. It's been reported that he did recruit DeAndre Ayton and he did recruit Marcus Smart to the point where it was immediately confirmed that as soon as they got bought out, they became LA Lakers pretty much. And I don't know what was said in those discussions, but my guess is a combination of Luka being there Luka being what he's going to probably eventually be with the Lakers, and then the transition in terms of ownership. I think when you factor all that in, I think you're going to get a good forum for these guys to showcase their talents so that they can earn maximum dollars once the season is over.
I want to put up here real quickly because there's a discussion on the Exhibit 10 deal. I wanted to put that there. This was off of Dave McMenamin's Twitter account. Again, 4 players were signed to Exhibit 10 deals this weekend. Again, I mentioned Marciulionis, the kid, Marciulionis, Eric Dixon, RJ Davis, and Kaluma, both of whom, those last two guys played for the Summer League. Eric Dixon and Marciulionis did not, but that's the Exhibit 10 in a nutshell. But it basically locks them into, unless somebody really is interested in them, they could get out of it as far as another team is concerned. I'm sure they can negotiate with the Lakers on that. But it right now gets those kids into training camp and gets the most aligned to what probably a start at the South Bay League level. Eric Dixon was a surprise because of the fact that it was mentioned a few days ago that Eric Dixon originally had agreed verbally to a two-way deal. We didn't know it was verbally at the time. They had reported as a two-way deal, but it looks like he never signed it, got hurt, and the Lakers withdrew that and now have made it an Exhibit 10 deals for all of these guys. I mentioned that of the 4, because 2 of them we saw in a limited amount of action in Summer League, I think of the 4, I think Dixon, just to seeing him in college, being the NCAA scoring leader, is the only one that might have enough potential at this time to make the Lakers roster at some point in time. Your thoughts on any of the kids? I know, like I said, you saw 2 of them in limited action in Summer League, but seeing how the Lakers summer went, I don't think they really impressed. You're on mute.
Following what Dixon did, he's already made a flub in his early NBA career by doing what he did and then essentially betting on himself and losing and then not having a guaranteed contract now. So not
that's RJ Davis, Eric Dixon, Arthur Kaluma, and Augustus Marciulionis, son of Sharunas Marciulionis.
Here's what happens is the NBA is compiled. The NBA, those who aspire to be NBA players, like a Dixon, let's say, you can probably grab guys that can hit threes. But one thing that I do notice about a lot of these guys is they don't do anything better. Shooting threes at this point in the NBA is like being able to have speed in football, let's say. Everyone has speed in the NFL. If they're in the secondary, if they're a receiver, you have to have speed in those positions. But can you create separation as a receiver? Can you stay in front of an elite receiver or even a good receiver? The answer to that is very, very few can do that. So it's the same thing with NBA aspiring players. They're all going to be able to shoot threes because that's the game now. And they'll make them. And some will make at least 35%. That's a big number when you factor
That's
in.
why those specialists, those 3-point specialists from the past, Joe, are not as important to the game as they once were, which is why we talk about Dalton Connect so much, about all the other flaws in his game. Is even if he hits 40% from 3, if he can't do much of anything else, he is not going to be able to stay out there very long. Because like you said, even just the regular average everyday guys, for the most part, are hitting 34, 35, and 36% on their threes.
And then you factor in most of those guys don't have ideal NBA size. So they'll be, I'm using analogies here for football because football season's coming. It's like getting a quarterback that's 6 feet tall, 6'1", versus 6'5", 6'6". Dalton Connect had a career at Tennessee that showed his skills. He's a big player, someone who's 6'6". That's a good size for a guy that's was hoping to be someone that could D up against the bigger types because he does have some size, and then of course have the ability to shoot. Dalton Connect's issue right now, without a doubt, is something going on up top his neck, and that is the great defeater of anything. When your head is not right, it don't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how fast you are, it doesn't matter how good you shoot, how well you shoot. It is a detriment to progress. And right now, Dalton Knecht not only has not progressed, he's regressed so badly that there's talk that he may be a bust, which is crazy. This is a guy that scored 30 points his rookie year in a game. This guy that hit 8 threes. Was that right? He hit 8 threes in a game. That doesn't just happen. That usually isn't something that some guy can just get lucky and drop 30 points his rookie year in an NBA game. Dalton Knecht has immense talent, and he has the athleticism to be a decent, good team defender because the defense in a lot of ways is focus and effort. You don't need to have elite footwork to be a good defender, especially in this day and age when the offense is kind of not really going to need you to play tough defense because all they're doing is pass, 3-point, 3-point, 3-point. So you have the speed, you have the size to stay in front of somebody at that point more often than not. And that's how that goes. But the Lakers this offseason or this summer don't look like they're going to have anybody that's probably going to contribute this year. Dalton may get his head right. I don't know. But I don't really consider him new. I don't consider him the Dixon or anyone that's kind of, Adu, Dixon. I'm just not going to hope and pray that these guys play huge factors in the season. I just don't think they have those skill sets, and I don't think they're set up to do that. But everyone else that's been playing, Dalton in particular, they're going to be the ones that are going to have to make sure that they pick up the slack. And if the Lakers can somehow advance the roster before the season starts, which I don't think is going to happen, you're going to be starting the season with the same starting lineup plus DeAndre Ayton. And that already is better than what it was between February 2nd and the end of the year.
But we will see what happens. But No Joker has a great point, and thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciate it, No Joker, as always. He says, when are we going to grab someone who can make a three when it matters, Joe?
Luka can hit a three when it matters. The only issue last year was he didn't get the ball when it mattered, so he could shoot the three.
Uh-huh.
That needs to change. Dalton Knecht maybe had a future in that if he continued to get better, but we're going to have to wait on that one. Austin Reeves isn't necessarily going to be that guy. Rui Hachimura, even though he shoots well, isn't not necessarily going to be that guy. This has to be Luka Doncic because he's already done it. And he's done it over and over again. Luka Doncic needs to get the ball at the end of games. I don't want to see LeBron James, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, or anyone else get the ball at the end of games. Create the offense so that Luka Doncic gets a shot. If he's double teamed, if he's triple teamed, then I'll take my chances with getting the ball to LeBron on a dive and letting him get to the basket and making a layup. That's fine too. But this is something JJ Redick needs to work on. This is probably the biggest fail, in my view, of JJ Redick towards the last 3 months. It's that right there. And I cannot buy that he didn't want to maybe insult LeBron. Because LeBron spent 90% of his career giving up the ball at the end of the games. So you can't use that excuse. You can't flip it in. Well, he probably doesn't want to make LeBron feel weird. No. You have one of the few guys in this league that has a clutch gene, and you didn't create one single effective. Maybe you did draw it up in the timeout, but you didn't draw up one single effective play so that you can free up your only real clutch player to shoot a ball at the end of these games. That is unacceptable. And I hope JJ Redick practices in fixing that issue, because you're going to win a hell of a lot more games with him taking the last shot than you are anybody else on this team. So that's going to be a very, very important advancement that the Lakers have to make, absolutely have to make throughout the year.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching.
By the way, props to Drip Show. Another amazing shirt.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. He's stand-up profile. Yeah, I mean, Papi Chulo, he's trying to talk the smack, and I hate it when all these just like these guys who just can't talk smack try to talk smack. They're not funny and they're not good. He says, enjoy DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, on a cheap deal, absolutely we'll enjoy DeAndre Ayton. If he gets 15 and 10, he gets his career average. He gets his career average, Papi Chulo. Your mouth becomes closed. And so again, if you come here and you want to talk trash, bring it. Bring it. Don't bring your F game like you are right now. Bring an A game, because we love to get the trash talkers. We love it, right, Joe? We love to go ahead and go.
We eat trolls for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and sometimes I'll do it for brunch as well.
There you go. Absolutely. Don't even get Joe started on it.
It's hard for insults to affect, because I know for myself I don't have any feelings towards it. I just don't. I'm a pretty insensitive guy most of the day, and I always try to tell everybody, you can compliment me all day or you can desecrate me all day. It's not going to change the opinion of who I am, ever.
Absolutely.
It'll never change, ever. And if you're going to come bring nonsense to the show, then you're going to get called out. There's two things that are going to happen. Number one, you're going to go, shit, this isn't your normal show, and stay, or you will wither away like nothing and continue to do what you're doing in other shows and be useless to society. That is your future. That is your future if you go that way. Now, if you want to get knowledge, you want to actually learn something and be entertained, because we're entertainers here. This is supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be a release. Just ask Sharon B. She's here, happy, sad, upset. She has all the emotions coming in sometimes during the year, and that's what this is for. It's to be entertained. It's to have a chance to just listen and watch some good stuff.
And it's so funny because we've gotten so many trolls over the years, Joe, and they stay for hours and they stay for days, and it's just so funny how we could just suck them on in. We'll insult them, and they love being insulted to time and time again. And we just toy with them, and they don't understand that they're being toyed with. You know what? You go through, you watch the ads, you make us money along the way, Joe.
Yeah, and that's, unfortunately, that's the society we live in. The Howard Stern effect, right? The people who hated Howard Stern in his heyday, I'm not a big fan of his right now, that's for sure. But back in the day when he was kind of innovating radio, they had estimated that I think in a 4-hour show, 3.5 hours was clocked to those who didn't like him, and those who did like him were only on for about 45 minutes. So those who are insulted, those who are offended, those who are crying, those who are I'm not going to use the P word, wussies, they generally will listen more and react more. And then in some cases, they like the banter back. They like to be insulted. They may be masochists. Maybe they're used to being put down by upbringing, by being bullied at school. I don't know. But that's what happens. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am pretty good at spotting things, and that's usually how it goes. But then again, let's look at the positive. Some convert. Some go, wait, this is not your normal show. These guys actually converse, and these guys actually have something good to say, something that actually has some value, instead of sitting here like a bunch of 2x4s yapping about the same BS, the same clickbaits. That's one thing you will never get here, ever. We don't clickbait. We actually have good information. We have a good memory to everything. And the opinions are opinions. You know, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But in the end, at least we're not fake.
I really hate addressing that clickbait. Like, for instance, the Drew Holiday rumors last week. I mean, that just even when I was getting texts, Joe, I was getting texts with pictures of Drew Holiday or in a Lakers uniform, and I'm like, okay, Rob Pelinka just set out a course of a summer to try and fiscally guide this team, meaning he got players on the cheap, got 2 players off a buyout, passed over any deal that he might have been offered to him or that he offered or anything like that, because he wants to save money for 26 and 27 when a whole ton of money comes off the cap for them in 26 and might just roll over to 2027, Joe, if Giannis is still available. Why would you want to go ahead and suck that back in by trading for one of the worst contracts in the NBA? It just stop for a moment, guys, and just understand the logic. And let's say you get Drew Holiday on a buyout. His skills duplicate a guy you just got in Marcus Smart, but yet is 4 years older. So I just don't see it. I mean, people they don't stop and think. They just take whatever some, in this case, Dallas guy, Hoops Journal guy, put out there, and they're just running with it. And you got to understand, you know, whether you guys like it or not, the Lakers didn't go all in this summer. They're not going all in unless they have a team they know that can compete for a championship, and they won't know that until February, Joe. So I don't expect them to do anything major until then. I see Martin in the chats going, Connect getting traded for Rob Williams. I mean, that. I mean, you still got to talk about $10 million difference in contract there. So how are you making that up? You're giving them an expiring contract along with it. That defeats the purpose of what Rob is doing right now. Vucevic, Middleton, and Caleb all indicating they want to play with Luka and LeBron. Lakers suddenly look like a tall and scary team. I mean, if they all come on buyouts, yeah, sure. Middleton will probably, if he doesn't get traded, Joe, by the trade deadline, he'll be on a buyout. Vucevic, I don't know what his status will be going forward, because again, you have to take a look and see how he plays this season. And Caleb, he's close to the end of his career. So I don't know. Yes, we do want a tall and scary team, but when you guys put this stuff out there, like the Dallas guy did, understand the parameters of what Rob is doing this summer. Understand what the moves he's been making this offseason, and how doing something the opposite of that isn't going to jive unless they get one hell of a good player, Joe.
Curry clears. Yes, we welcome all fan bases to the show. We actually welcome it. I think it's good for some diversity, and you don't really hear me say diversity a lot in a positive way, and that's usually a positive way. We would love to have all 29 the other 29 fan bases to listen and watch, because we do discuss the other teams, and that's the other part that separates us. We do know Laker basketball very, very well, absolutely very well, and I'll go toe to toe with anyone out there, any of those 60,000 sub shows, whatever, with our guys versus them. And I have a pretty good feeling we'll probably know a little bit more. Now they're in the trenches with these people, right? They're the media types. I'm talking about other things. I'm talking about the knowledge of the team. I don't see anybody better than us. However, to explain to explain the process, I think sometimes certain people need to be educated. Some of them are not. They don't understand. Believe it or not, some still don't understand trading contracts for contracts. I don't think they think of it that way. The Drew Holiday rumor, and when I hear a rumor like that, I try to ignore it, because if you give it attention, they'll keep bringing it out. So I purposely don't read anything on it. I purposely don't try to skim through any of it. I try not to even give them an impression. So, because it's ridiculous. First of all, it's passing the 2027 season, which is the Lakers have already made a commitment that they're not going to do that unless it's probably for a star player. But that's common sense. The other thing is Drew Holiday is going to require two of your depth guys to trade for. And the other is, why would you bring him in when you already have Marcus Smart? That's redundant, and you're paying that guy 20 times more, 30 times more than what you're paying Marcus Smart. That you guys got to, for those of you who don't know, you got to kind of use your heads a little bit. That was a very surprising name that came up. I was waiting for the buyout, right? I was waiting for the buyout comment after that. But then I said, wait a minute, why the hell would Portland make that trade with Boston to just drop this guy? You're not going to go trade for Drew Holiday, spend more money, and actually give up a draft pick just to cut him. That's not even common sense. That's just what? Like, you got to know that. So, but let me venture into the other Portland Trailblazer. If the Lakers trade for Robert Williams using Connect and some fillers, not a first, they're not going to trade a first in that deal. But let's say there's something else like maybe a second round pick. I'm okay with that, even though there's a risk of injury. If Robert Williams can just maybe not get injured by some luck and actually play, that's a really good addition to the team. Now, when we talked about having that 8-man rotation, that's solid for the playoffs. That's a solid 8-man rotation. And if you can get lucky and get a really good backup center, then you're really set. Then let's see.
Williams, if he's healthy, would be a great backup center.
True. You could slide him there. There you go. You could slide him as I can have him play small ball center. Thank you for bringing that up. You could have him play small ball center. I would prefer to add another player there because I would rather have him play his natural position, which is the power forward position. But you're right. Small ball, that will work versus putting Rui or putting LeBron. I'm just not. I think we've seen that movie before. It doesn't work. So to answer that question, what would Portland want? Would they look at Dalton Connect as, you know what? I think this kid has a lot of potential, and I think if he comes to Portland without all that pressure, maybe he'll be successful. For me, that's actually a pretty good thing. Because, I've been wanting to keep Dalton Connect. You don't want to lose guys like that when they have some potential. Plus, it's a first-round pick.
But if it stays in his head, though, Joe, I mean, if it's something where
I don't think it
will.
Both sees, I don't think it will. I just, maybe I'm just being old. Getting a better player. Robert Williams is a better player and a need. So, yeah, and he's on an expiring contract. I would not balk at that trade. And they're not going to drop a first-round pick in that deal anyway. So,
no.
If they want to throw some second-round picks, they want to get a third team involved, whatever. I would be in support of making that deal, but I don't know why Portland would do it other than looking at Connect as maybe something in the future that they can use.
That's probably what they would do, but you still have to make the money work out. So maybe Cleavers on our side and a minimum contract on theirs would have to go with it just to make the money work itself out, because that's the difference in pay on that. But you got to remember, Joe, even though they do have the 3 contracts of doom in Portland right now sitting on their books, again, if I'm taking over that team, which again I believe they're up for sale. If I'm buying in that team, I would fire the general manager to have 3 contracts that are sitting on there in Lillard, Grant, and also as well, of course, Drew Holiday. those three are just sitting on your books like that. Just absolutely just would irritate me to no end. But be that as it may, I still have a lot of young pieces I can grow. And with young Hansen doing really well in Summer League, getting up to a good start. Although, again, he needs cardio. He blows up after 3 minutes. Literally, he blows up after 3 minutes. So as long as you could get him cardio to where he can go ahead and give you 5 to 7 minute stints here and there during the course of a game, he is really talented. You could clearly see that. And if that's the case, they'll probably want to move him as the backup center right behind Don McClingan. So there won't be any room or need for Robert Williams going forward. So utilizing him, if his knees are healthy enough, Time Lord, I would definitely be interested in as a main backup above Jackson Hayes on the Lakers roster to play the 4 or the 5.
There's going to be, if there is to be a deal like that, now it probably adds even more onus on Rob to probably get some of these guys off the roster. So in that deal, you're right. It would be probably Kleber because he's an expiring contract. But then what if Portland says, well, give us Gabe Vincent because we can still kind of use him. Kleber, I don't know. Not so much. I don't know. But either way, I don't care. But there would likely need to be some shedding of those spots, and I think that one of those guys would suffice. And rumor wise, I implore you guys to not feed the X trough and don't feed the even bigger crap hole of clickbait YouTube shows. If you really are interested in understanding what's going on, and unfortunately, the new CBA is much more complicated than any CBA that I can remember. And I don't have time to sit and read whatever it is, 700 to 1,000 pages. I don't have time. And even if I read 700 to 1,000 pages, you're not going to retain all of it. You have to read it a while and really look at it. I don't think we're here to detail page 45-A-E4 of the collective bargaining agreement. I think the most important things to pay attention to, and a lot of the really good analysts out there, I think Bobby Marks is your main one, right, G?
Yeah, I use him a lot because
he simplifies the graphs. All you need to know is the details that matter. What happens after the first apron? What happens after the second apron? What happens when they don't hit the apron? Obviously, the salary cap. Obviously, the luxury tax threshold. These things are actually pretty easy to retain and understand. And I highly recommend you learn that. And then we can kind of go into more detail on how that'll play out, if that's something you don't want to kind of think about. Because I was taught in broadcasting school, don't complicate it. Don't use big words all the time. Keep it simple. Let the audience understand what you're saying. And that's what we try to do. Because Sean Grice can get very, very analytical if you really want him to. He's got the brain power. He reads a lot of books. His vocabulary is master's degree quality. Maybe even a PhD. So, but that's not entertaining. We're here to explain why something makes sense. And is it possible too? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that this might work. And then you look at other things going, no, I don't even know why you even thought that doesn't make any sense. Have you followed what's been going on the last month? And maybe you didn't. And then you got to remind them, no, you can't, you're not going to see that deal because this team traded for this guy already, and they're not going to do that. And those are the things that are important to understand. Curry Clears said something about how are the Lakers going to compete with Golden State should they get Horford and who was the other one that you liked, Gerald?
As far as what?
As a big.
As a big, they're the only ones that are out there really that are left. Kai Jones, I think, was the one that was the other that people have been talking about again as a young big who might be able to give something, like because he impressed with Dallas and he's out there as a free agent. But there's not too many bigs left outside of Horford, and they're still waiting.
I think Melton was the other guy.
Oh, DeAnthony Melton. Yeah, DeAnthony Melton, because he was coming off an ACL, but he's more of a guard as far as, but it's clear, Joe, though, that Melton and Horford are waiting for this fiasco with Jonathan Kuminga to end. And once that is solidified, I think it's just a matter of minutes before they are already getting their agreement. Maybe even Gary Payton II on top of that as well. But I think that the Lakers still match up very favorably with Golden State because, again, they've never been able to really handle the size of Luka and LeBron, and then now Luka on top of it. I just think that the matchups do not favor Golden State, especially the fact that Golden State will probably be, if they get they will be if they get Horford and Melton and even GP2, they'll be an older team than the Lakers, ironically. And, I talked about how I always used to joke, Joe, about how the 2022 team that Rob put together was like the 2014 NBA All-Star team. Well, they're not even the oldest team. The Clippers now, Joe, are the oldest team in the NBA and probably one of the oldest team, if not the oldest team ever, once they step onto the court. But Golden State, if they get all these things lined up and if Kuminga stays, goes, whatever happens, they get Horford in there, they'll just be almost as old as the Clippers themselves as well. It'd be very interesting to see how these older teams are able to navigate through a long 82-game season.
Coincidentally, the Warriors are almost on the same timeline as the Lakers. If you look at the salary structures of the main three, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, all three finalize their contracts, at least their current contracts, in 2027. And they haven't really done much this summer. They've hardly done anything, if I remember correctly. I don't think the Golden State Warriors are going to go all out at this point. And I don't know what the future is, really. Is Steph Curry going to play this out and hope that he can play another couple of years after that? Probably. But they are in line of having some options in 2027. They would be, if some of these big name stars do end up creating a free agency area for themselves. There, Golden State and the Lakers, let's say, if that indeed happens, there will be some competition there. Will you want to go to Golden State, or will you want to go to LA? Will you want to play with Luka, or you want to play with Steph Curry? As far as their performance in general, Jimmy Butler didn't look good towards the end of the year, especially in that playoff run. They did win the first round, obviously, but they kind of, Steph Curry getting hurt didn't help. But it's just, I don't know if they have another year in them to be a threat. Draymond Green has been done for a few years now. He's there just as a mascot at this point, with a few games where he'll kind of play well enough to go, okay, so he's still kind of an asset here. The Kuminga discussion has been an ongoing discussion with Golden State for years here at this point. I feel like it's been years. They don't want to commit too much money to him. You can tell. But will they have to? I don't think so. I wouldn't. I think I would give him what they think would be right. And if he wants more, I don't think I would go that route. I don't think he's that good.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think guys like Horford or anyone else that would be available is going to make the league that much of a difference. That those guys aren't going to make those guys all of a sudden finals contenders. The reason why it's different for the Lakers is because you have a Luka Doncic who's in shape and will be in shape even more because he's playing for Slovenia this summer. And he is going to come out for blood. And Austin and Rui are young guys waiting to play for their next big contracts. DeAndre Ayton is 26, waiting to play for his next contract. You got a lot of guys here that have a lot to play for, and they're young guys. And one of those young guys is possibly an MVP this year. LeBron's going to play LeBron. He's going to do his 24-7-7, 25-7-7, as long as he doesn't get hurt. However, I'd rather him go 22-5-5 and only play 30 minutes a game, so that when playoff time comes, he can get to the basket more and more during those 1, 2, 3, 4 series in the run in the playoffs.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate everyone out there joining us. I cannot thank you enough for doing so. Joe, can we get a review from you? Well, again, I put it, or I've already recorded it. I will say, if you liked Happy Gilmore, the original, you'll like Happy Gilmore, the original, more than you like Happy Gilmore 2, and I'll just leave it at that. Joe, did you happen to watch?
Yeah, I saw it. The only beautiful thing about the movie was I have a history of there's a history behind watching Happy Gilmore, and I went up north to watch it with my friend, who I watched it with her 29 years ago with her mom during my San Diego State visit for orientation, and it was one of those epic evenings that we have still never forgotten and never will. I've never laughed. I've laughed in a lot of movies up until that time. The Toy, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Stir Crazy. Yeah, you can notice a theme there on who was in those movies. I was a big Richard Pryor guy. Richard Pryor used to kill me when I was a kid. Absolutely kill me. He was the funniest man, I think, ever at that point for me. Him and Rodney Dangerfield. And then we're in a hotel room, winding down the day. Mom wants to take, we're sharing a room, and it's 2 queen beds. Mom and daughter are in one bed, I'm in the other. And Mom wants to go to bed. And she's like, "Hey, kids, you want to watch a movie before you go to bed? Great." Pop in the movie. At this time, I had seen Adam Sandler's audio stuff, which I laughed my rear end off during the All-Star game for football, when we were staying in the dorms for the week. And so I was kind of like, okay, let's see what Adam Sandler, because I only knew Adam Sandler from that and SNL. So let's see how good. I hadn't seen Billy Madison at that point, right? I wasn't a Billy Madison guy at that point. So we pop it, movie, she buys the movie, and Mom's supposed to go to bed at this point and just letting us watch. So movie starts, it does its thing, and then the second Chubbs, Carl Weathers, God rest his soul, presents his hand, we could not stop laughing. No joke. This is not an exaggeration. I'm talking about abs hurting laughing for the next hour, because everything just kept coming. And then every time we had a little bit of a break, we would remember the scene before or 3 scenes before, we'd start laughing. Then one of us would start laughing. The other one would laugh because the other person's laughing. And poor Mom, her mom was the sweetest, nicest lady ever, right? Still is. And she's so nice and respectful and understanding. Like her reaction made us laugh. And at the same time, I'm trying not to laugh because I don't want to wake her up. So it was like a huge hole of laughing in so many reasons why. It was the dialogue, it was the execution, it was my friend laughing, Mom wondering what the hell's going on, trying to be quiet, laughing. It was the best, one of the best, if not the best movie experiences I've ever had. And I called her a month ago when I saw the trailer. I said, "Hey, Tony," I go, you and I have to watch this with Mom. We have to watch this together. There's just no way I'm driving up. She's like, "Okay, that's actually a good idea. Let's do it." So we ended up doing it. And unfortunately, the movie kind of was not good. But sometimes comedies need to be seen a few times. I'll give it a shot down the road. I'll see it maybe 2 or 3 times to see if I miss things, and maybe just kind of whatever. That's how comedies are sometimes. Sometimes you got to watch them more than once to catch everything. But yeah, I didn't go into it thinking it would match the first one. There's no way that was possible. It just wasn't. The timing is different. The energy is different. Adam Sandler is not anywhere near the intensity that he was in the 90s. Even in The Wedding Singer, where he was kind of calm, there were times in the movie where you could hear the real Adam Sandler, prime Adam Sandler, and you're laughing your butt off. But it was more about the experience of being with good friends and enjoying that than really the quality of the movie. Because at this point, Gerald, I think I've full blown become Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. Everything almost sucks at this point. Everything sucks to me. I know it's me. I don't enjoy movies like I used to.
I enjoyed the Fantastic Four, just to let everybody know. Just to give everybody a hint on that. Jeremy, how do they mess up a class? Again, with Adam Sandler comedies, it reminds me a lot of the Naked Gun movies. They throw a lot of stuff at you and sees what, and they try to see what sticks. With the original Happy Madison, I laughed more. It's still not my favorite by any means as far as the Adam Sandler comedies. I think The Waterboy was the one that really I enjoyed the most. But Happy Gilmore is much better than Happy Gilmore 2. But there was, 100, jokes in that movie, Happy Gilmore 2. It just when only 5 or 6 land out of the 100, because it's just like bing, 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 or cameo, cameo, cameo. Everybody's got to get their line in and their cameo, cameo. It makes it just too much of a mess, and it's unfortunate because again, everybody had such high expectations. I said on the show on the Pop Culture Cosmos, if you guys go to check it out again, it's already up on YouTube. I said that this should have been out in the theaters for the nostalgia factor for Joe and for others out there that really have fond memories of that movie, out for 2 weeks, and then you put it on Netflix. But it's going to get huge numbers on Netflix. Doesn't matter how bad or good it is. People are going to just enjoy it and see it for the next 2 months clear. It's going to be at or near the top of the charts there for weeks on end, just because of the the reach that Happy Gilmore had. And it does pay a lot of homage and respect to actors who have passed away since the Happy Gilmore. I appreciated that part, but it does have way too many cameos. It does run way too long, and it does have way too many jokes that fall flat. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing I've seen. I just thought it was Again, there was 4 or 5 jokes that were funny, and it's worth it. But this also got me scared because the Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson is out in 2 weeks. And I am a huge Naked Gun Police Squad fan, and I am so deathly afraid that they're going to that Seth MacFarlane is going to mess this up. It's just going to be that bad. And I'm waiting for it, Joe. I'm just waiting for it.
I think what's bothered me about the movies these days is I don't think they're really tailoring it around. They're not tailoring it around talent anymore. At least not from what I think of. My favorite black actor is. You guys know who that is. You know who my favorite black actor is. I bet you guys know already. Last name Lazarus. You know who it is. Anyway, so let me get back to what I was saying. Movies. I think the filling of the box when it comes to talent, and maybe I'm noticing now more. What maybe it was going on before? I don't think so. I don't think it was. It's just, I don't know. I've been watching movies here and there. It's just like, what is this? Like, I don't have any connection to it. And as far as Naked Gun is concerned, there's as much as you can love Liam Neeson and he's talented as all hell, Leslie Nielsen's timing and Naked Gun is unmatched.
It's terrific.
That scene with Nordberg's wife when she's screaming, you cannot replicate that. Even that lady was absolutely dynamite in that scene. How are you going to beat that? So Yeah, I don't I don't I don't think I don't think I don't know how they're gonna do it. I really don't. Seth MacFarlane gave me a little bit of hope because Seth MacFarlane does have some good comedic chops in terms of
He does, but with his own properties. But now he's
yeah.
stepping into,
But
and they didn't get the original creators involved, which
here's how you look at
scares
it, Joe.
me to death.
Here's how you look at it. I'm going to give you an example of The Godfather 1 and 2 versus Godfather 3. When you watch Godfather 3 separate in your mind from Godfather 1 and 2, it's a very good movie. Just paying attention to how the story develops, how Diane Keaton was so freaking good in Godfather 3. How often do you see anyone, not just in one scene, but in several scenes, outdo Al Pacino? Diane Keaton should have won an Oscar for that movie. Honestly, she was unreal. Some of my favorite scenes. That scene when she tells him she dreads him, that whole scene was like, I get goosebumps when I think about it, and when I watch it, I'm like, man, she absolutely flipped out, upside down, inside out. Just when you see good acting like that, when you see someone just own, and not only you own, but you own the room with, in my view, could be the greatest actor that ever lived. To me, that has to have some props. You have to honor. You have to put some stuff into that and say, hey, look, you stop comparing this movie to its predecessors. That's not fair. This movie's great. So, looking at Naked Gun, about 10 years ago, Gerald, I hadn't seen Naked Gun in probably 20 years at that point, right? And I popped it in. I don't know why I didn't watch it for 20 years. Maybe because I watched it so many times when I was a kid. I just, I already know what's going on. So I popped it in. I couldn't stop laughing the first 10 minutes. I knew every scene, but Leslie Nielsen is so good. How is anyone ever going to beat him? Yeah. There's no way anyone's going to beat him. And everyone was great too. Everyone.
It just seemed like they were connecting because, like I said, a lot of what they did is similar to what Adam Sandler did 10 years later in those 90s movies. Just a lot of hit and miss, but there were more in those days for him with Waterboy. And like I said, I really liked, and Happy Gilmore and others, a lot more hits than there were from what we saw in Happy Gilmore 2. But in the Police Squad original TV series, and then the, of course, what we're dealing with a Naked Gun, especially the first two. Third one, it kind of was like off the chain until the end when they were at the Oscars. But the first two, especially the first one, just really connected with so many hits. It just is so funny. And I go back, Joe, on YouTube, and I watch the clips. It just, if I'm having a bad day or something, I just watch the clips because they come up and pop up on my algorithm, and it's just always brings a smile to my face. And I'm just so worried that, like we see with Happy Gilmore too, because it was even said that Adam Sandler just looked like he was bored throughout the entire film or depressed. And
the whole point of the first one working was his energy. He was crazy.
He had no energy.
He doesn't have any energy, and that's movies acting. In a lot of ways, it's not any different than being an athlete. You're not going to have the same energy at 50 when you were 25. I mean, you'd have to be kind of next level. You'd have to be someone like Jim Carrey. But as good as Adam Sandler is, no one will be Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey has a different level that no one's ever really had, in my view. But and that's the point. Like, you should know that this isn't going to work. Is it just a money grab? Probably. Is it an opportunity? Is it an opportunity?
He's got such a huge contract with Netflix. People don't realize how many zeros this guy signed for with Netflix. Netflix locked him up for years, or for a number of movies. And whether we like or not, he gets that base. That base will draw to his movies, so it pays itself off with Netflix every time. You'll wait till you guys see that. I mean, if you see it's number one now on your list when you go to your Netflix algorithm, I can just see easily 100 million views or 100 million hours, however they rate it out. I can see that just being one of the biggest movie drops of the entire year for Netflix.
No, Jeremy, I haven't seen That's My Boy. I saw certain scenes here and there that were actually not bad, but I heard the movie was horrible. I'm not a Sandler follower either. I'm probably more. I think his best work was in the late '90s, early 2000s at best. After that, it was he was always
He's better in dramatic form now with Hustle and Uncut Gems, which are really good movies, Joe.
He probably is, but my movie thirst has dwindled. I haven't
There
been.
You go, Joe. That's it right there.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Bloodhound.
I'm surprised.
Bloodhound is our stat guy.
That's a crazy number there.
Great, buddy, if you can get it.
Yeah, that's nuts. I don't know.
I mean, South Park just signed for $1.5 billion for 50 episodes.
How does Netflix pay that? From what? Subscriptions?
Your subscriptions and now ads. If you have the lowest tier, ads as well.
Well,
on a worldwide basis.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's me. I don't. It might be me. It might not.
I know you were very eager to see the film, Joe. That's why I really am hurt that you didn't like it.
But then you're watching it and you're realizing why I don't like movies anymore. I was there because of nostalgia. I wanted to feel. I had already won being with my people. That was the whole point of it. But as I'm watching this thing, and by the way, as soon as I saw that the running time was an hour and 57 minutes, that was the first sign. I said, "Oh shit, this thing's gonna suck. This thing should be an hour and 37 minutes."
Yeah, it's too long.
It's too long. That means you're gonna have long scenes that don't really like. Whoever edited this, I think based off what you just
all
said,
of his buddies in there, though. He's got to put all of his buddies in the pros.
That's fine. That's fine. His buddies are talented, but they weren't really used. Yeah. You said it. They're cameos. Rob Schneider was in it for 5 seconds. Why?
Nealon was horrible.
Why? Why didn't you put something in there that at least would make us laugh? But I think these guys, based off that number you just posted, I think all Netflix wanted was a chance to keep you on there for 2 hours so that you can watch their ads in between the shows. That's it. If this was in the theater only, like old school times, and you had to go to the rental place, it would have been an hour and 37 minutes. But they wanted you there for 2 hours. That extra 2 hours or that extra 20 minutes probably gave them God knows how much in revenue. And I'm sorry. If this is how you're going to make movies, you can go stick your movie up your ass. I'm not watching it. The only reason why I have Netflix is because my phone company offers it for free. I don't really watch Netflix unless I absolutely have to. So, yeah, it's
Alex, he also put his sons in it as well. Just want to let you know.
And that's the part, guys. The talent in movies is so bad. That chick that played Snow White, did you hear what happened to her on Broadway or whatever the hell was going on?
Uh-huh.
She had to get replaced during the freaking performance. What are you doing? Why do you keep employing these idiots? Who keeps giving these guys employment? This is a service performance business. You're supposed to bring the attraction. Is Vegas going to pay a singer at MGM, at the Wynn? Are they going to pay top dollar or whatever for a singer who has 4 people in the crowd? Are they going to pay someone who doesn't finish the performance? Come on, man. This is the problem for me. I know what it is. I want more talented play. There's not enough talent. There's not enough talent in these movies, these TV shows. It's not enough. TV is a little bit better actually than movies. But filling in the boxes. I feel like that's what it is, or someone that's on your team. And at this point, if that's how you're going to do it, yeah, sayonara. I'm watching more documentaries than I ever have, by the way. Documentaries have become much better than they were ever. So that's the I want to watch stuff, but why am I watching documentaries more than I'm
Netflix?
watching
I will give credit; they have a ton of good documentaries. I do like the one I have. It is going to be one of the best things that I've seen this year. Is the one with what was it? The submarine that blew up down there near the Titanic. That one, that documentary people need to see because that one is really good. I really enjoyed that one. So,
and I've also been trying to stay away from the Puff Daddy docs. I'm always seeing these R. Kelly docs.
The Travis Scott one.
I'm like, I don't want to support these scumbags. Like these guys are doing abhorrent things, and then you're making money off it. What do I care what the details are on a piece of shit? These guys are, to me, if I saw these people in the street, they're no different than the trash that's on the street to me. With all their money, it doesn't mean anything. Why would I want to support this? And you keep putting this garbage, and you're putting it in the front. You turn this thing on, and they're in the front. Tabloid garbage, Walmart brains. I want the best actors. I want the best looking actors performing in the best movies. I want it all. We need to get back to that.
As long as CMB, if that happens, and we don't take Ocean Gate's next Titan sub, we may be interested because that's the one that if you want to go ahead and see a good one, go ahead and check out the documentary on the Titan explosion. It is really interesting, and also you learn a lot from that one as well. Bloodhound, Paramount Plus, Apple TV Plus, both great. Love the Star Trek, in fact, Strange New Worlds. It's funny because they're just started showing episodes from season 3, and they already gave you a teaser at San Diego Comic-Con for season 4, and they're going to be already ending the series at season 5, which is crazy indeed. But they had to, if you know the storyline on that. But yeah, great conversation out there. When you haven't seen a good movie in years, wow, was Breaking Bad a Better Call Saul? So you're into that, really good shows. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Can't say I blame you.
I'll be honest. There were times where I was watching Better Call Saul and going, "My God, the writing in this show is better than Breaking Bad." It was phenomenal. Oh my God! To me, I don't differentiate Better Call Saul from Breaking Bad, anyways. So when someone says, "Well, what's a better show?" I'm like, "They're the same show. It's the same world. It's just a prequel with a sequel, and it's brilliantly written, brilliantly performed." And by the way, Gerald, Better Call Saul went 6 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I believe 6. Yeah,
they didn't win one Emmy for anything.
That's crazy. It's
not even
really
for picking
good.
up trash. Not even one Emmy. I'm sitting there watching, in my view, one of the best written shows. Bob Odenkirk, just one of those guys that got better as he got older.
By the way, Nobody 2 comes out next month. And by the way, just everybody, let everybody know.
Nobody 2. Oh. Bob Odenkirk turned into an action star.
Yes.
And they made Doc Brown into a freaking stud. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, Christopher Lloyd is going to go to heaven being an action star in his 80s now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm smiling and it's believable. It's freaking believable. Whoever did this, oh my God.
You might not be saying that about Nobody 2 because it's supposed to be on his vacation, and from the trailer, it does look a little bit wilder because the charm of it, like you said, Joe, was just because it was city based, right near his home, in his home, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody too is now out as far as him on vacation, and obviously everything goes awry on that. He just wants to enjoy his vacation, but it might get a little bit more outlandish because it gives looks like it's giving a broader area to go ahead and do.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. It's another thing is I've aspired to be an action star for a long time. I've been able to go all in on the Hollywood thing because it's a beast that's hard to get into. You need the right, but it's always lingering, right? The video game thing is kind of keeps me in there, and then I have a good network that continues to build in and around that as well. But it did give me, because I was feeling bad for about 5 years. I was like, man, I'm getting into my late 40s. I'm like, I might be missing my window. I might need to be that police chief in a Law and Order show or something, right? But when I'm seeing Bob Odenkirk doing his thing and seeing Christopher Lloyd doing his thing, and of course Liam Neeson doing his thing, I know for a fact I'm stronger and bigger than all those guys. So I might still have a shot. But anyways, I'm gonna watch it just because I love those guys. They're my guys, and they impressed me in the first one. But I have yet to get. I haven't been excited for a movie. This is just, I might have had it after this, but I don't remember, right? Which it's probably true though. I haven't anticipated a film to go to the theater for 13 years. You want to know what movie it was? Dark Knight Rises. That was the last time. That was the last time I was like, oh my God, when's this movie gonna come out?
Man, they should talk about a film they should have cut down a little bit. That one was a little bit long, but it was good. But it was just, I think it could have been better had they shortened that one because the Dark Knight was so good compared to Dark Knight Rises, which again, I wish they would have cut that down a little bit on that film to not call the trilogy. But Nolan's really good at almost everything he does.
Legend, I don't mind women kissing as long as it's not pretentious. Whatever that means.
CMB, no comment. I'm sorry. Dark Knight is a classic. Yes, that's true. Jeremy says, yeah, okay. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. But before we head out, we want to touch a little bit more on Luka because that's going to be the source of conversation here in about a week, Joe, because on the 2nd, the Lakers can offer him an extension for up to 4 years and $220 million in change, which is good money if you can get it. But the thing is, though, again, the thing people are missing that, let's say it's 3 years, 2 and 1, he actually accepts, or 3 plus 1, whatever. The per year averages, Joe, is what's interesting because of the fact that he was traded from Dallas to Los Angeles is the fact that we talked about it at the time and even ongoing since we bring it up from time to time. They cost him over $100 million, I believe, when it's all said and done. Now, mind you, he has sponsorships. It makes he's going to be fun, guys. He's going to be able to eat lunch. But the thing is, that's $100 million that he'll be sacrificing because he's signing the agreement with the Lakers instead of what he would have stayed with Dallas, which what he assumed he was going to be doing. That's got to be a source of contention of. He seems like a really nice guy, Joe. He seems like he's taking this all in stride, but somehow, this has got to motivate him, whether it's the financial part, whether it's just the fact, the betrayal part, what have you. Somewhere down deep, it's got to piss him off in some way, and I'm hoping that he will take that out on the NBA court this season.
Well, he has a choice to make up a lot of that if he just signs the 2+1, because then the extension in 2 years would have paid him more in gross money than he would have had he signed the extension with Dallas. The problem is in Dallas, there's no state tax, so that's where that becomes a problem too. But you can maybe look at that as he might earn more money as a Laker than he would as a Maverick in the outside stuff. That's just looking at it from that perspective. In the end, you're right. He's not going to have to worry about money for the rest of his life anyways. But whatever happened in Dallas, and I don't really, at this point, we haven't really talked about it a lot because I don't give a shit. I really don't. I think we talked about it before because it was something to talk about and it was still kind of new.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what happened in Dallas. I don't even think about Dallas when I think of Luka.
But he does, Joe. You have
and
to.
I want him to. I want him to because that's the fuel.
They did him dirty, Joe.
They did him dirty. They disrespected him as bad as you could for someone who loved being there.
Well, Xbox says it best. Maybe it's not all about the money. When he signs the deal next week, guys, you got to realize it's not all about the money because if he waits another year, Joe, he would have gotten paid more. But it looks very much like he will sign on the dotted line next week.
It might be something where, hey, look, let's just get this out of the way so we can get on with our lives. That was another discussion about, is Luka going to stay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's clickbait. Always was clickbait.
Yeah.
He was never going to not stay. It's a stupid comment. I don't know who starts these things, but they're lousy bums. Clickbait bums. I don't like clickbait bums. They all need to be called out. Talentless hacks. Well, that's what gets the people to watch. Well, if you keep bringing stupid people to listen to stupid things, guess what? Don't bitch and whine when people are stupid when you go everywhere. Okay? You get tired of jobs going elsewhere? Stop buying shit from Walmart then. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. You know, everything has everything's a cause and effect. And everybody smells their own shit and thinks it smells like roses when it doesn't. We're all part of the problem.
Yeah.
Every time you look at your iPhone or your Android phone and you think you want to go sit on your high horse and act like you care about things, just remember who made that phone. And by the way, and why you're not paying $2,000 for it. You're only paying maybe $1,000 for it. So you're saving $1,000 on that phone. Otherwise, yeah. So when it comes to clickbait stuff, when it comes to all that BS, I'm always on it. I'm always smelling that, going, yep, smells like shit. I'm not going to support any of that. Come to the Lakers Fast Break if you want to know real Laker information. If you guys want inside stuff, who is really giving you inside stuff anyways from those clowns? Those guys aren't told shit. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because they're there because they kiss their ass. The second they veer off left, they'll have their credentials taken away so fast they wouldn't even know they were there.
Before we head on out, my friend, good question by Curry Clears Kobe.
You just got to change your name. If you really think Curry's better than Kobe, then you're not really, you're not being real with yourself.
Better shooter from distance, but better player.
The greatest shooter of all time.
Yes,
but
that cannot be debated.
But Curry will never be an 11-time first-team All-NBA and a 9-time first-team All-Defense and a killer. Close, so close, scary guy. Curry's a scary player when he was on. Probably the only one that I can remember that was scary the last decade, really. But
I'm going to go ahead and say
he was never better than Kobe in any year, no matter what MVP year he had.
Yeah,
never. Yeah, sorry, never.
No worries. But he asked a great question though. Can you rank the 5 biggest off-season winners? So I'm trying to get that out there. I'm trying to think about some in my head right now as we speak.
On paper?
Who in this offseason you think capitalized?
Houston, Denver.
I'm putting Atlanta at the top of my list. I really think Atlanta did great. San Antonio, I think did pretty solid themselves.
I don't want to pick. I don't want to go with the guys that had good draft picks because that's easy. They were high draft picks, and that.
I mean, Dallas, you could say it was the best, you know.
No, I don't think Dallas. I'm not counting Dallas. They picked first. Everyone's going to pick Cooper Flag. Atlanta, Denver, Houston, and then the other two, you could probably say. Why am I drawing a blank here?
Well, I'm going to say the Lakers again. I put them between a B and a B minus. If that's your case,
I was going to put them. I was going to put them 5, but there's another.
Yeah, I put
team.
them
I
5 or 6 right there. Orlando. Do you want to put Orlando in there?
Orlando. That's it.
With the Bane signing.
Yes.
Yeah, because that obviously improved their offense, which is definitely a need there. But Atlanta, I think, is the biggest.
I knew it was somewhere in Florida, but I couldn't remember the name.
Houston and Denver, I think, loaded up greatly to help solidify their teams. Again, because Curry, you're talking about your team in Golden State. I think Golden State, the Lakers, even with their off seasons, and both on paper had decent off seasons. Again, both right around BB minus area as far as that's concerned, in my opinion. The Lakers, again, with the pickups they got up on the cheap and with low risk, very high reward potential. In the case of the Clippers, same thing. Nothing that ties up their long-term money. They are the oldest team in the NBA, but again, you have a lot of guys. You have a lot of room for depth on that team now with the Clippers. But again, it's based a lot off of age, and we'll see how much that's going to be a factor. But they had some pretty good signings as well. But yes, I think Atlanta did very well in its transactions. I think they hoodwinked New Orleans and Washington, I think, did sneakily well as well. I know Joe talked about Washington Wizards and said nobody wants to go to Washington, whatnot. But Washington is going to clear about $100 million in cap space. And they also got Cam Whitmore. And they also got rid of Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum, who also his money comes off the books. You also got Middleton's money coming off the books, and you got Smart's money coming off the books. That's $90 million between those three guys almost right there. So that's going to be anytime you can clear all that and also get young players as well on your team. Like I know Alan said earlier he has to see Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore is going to get a lot of shots now. Cam Whitmore will not have to worry, in my opinion, if he stays healthy, about getting time in the offense now, Joe. We will see what Cam Whitmore can do this upcoming season, I believe, Joe.
Yeah, the Cam Whitmore thing is probably going to turn out to be what most teams who passed him would end up being. Someone who's an empty stat.
20 points a game.
That still doesn't change what should have happened on draft night because of the player the Lakers got, the player that they scouted, and the player they decided to draft. You still draft the best player possible. Cam Whitmore was that guy. Whether it would have worked out or not is irrelevant. He was the most athletic. He was the most gifted at that point in the draft. And instead, the Lakers shit on themselves by drafting a player that I thought at that point should have been a late second-round pick and now should have never been drafted. That's a bad pick. And that's a pick that a schmuck like me knows about. So, I got to always bring up Empire Jeff on this because Empire Jeff likes to talk about the guys on the couch. That night, me on the couch knew a lot more than Rob Pelinka.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, and you did too. It's on YouTube. It's documented. So be careful what you say. When you say, oh, well, you're not these guys. No, we're not those guys. And a lot of times the reason why we're not those guys is we're better at talent evaluation than those guys. NBA GMs, and this is documented too if you go deep into the shows the last 4 years. I've said this many times. The worst executives in sports are usually GMs in the NBA. I don't know how the hell they get their jobs. I really don't. I know for a fact I do a better job in probably at least 10 of those franchises. at least. But the thing is, I don't know if I would last in that environment because it's middle management. I'm an owner type. I'm not a guy that works for people. And that's something I discovered years ago. Because if I do things the way I want to do them, there's always going to be someone on top, bottom that's not going to like it. And if they have the power over me, the politics over me, because I don't play politics. I don't give a shit about politics when I'm working. I'm there to do a job. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're poor. I'm there to execute a job. But most people are always thinking about something else. So for me, the only way I would have worked in sports is to be the owner, or if I was a player, because you can't replace the player. The most important part in sports is the player. They have the most power, especially when they're at their best. And then after that, it's owning the team. So in the end, how this plays out for Mr. Whitmore, the Wizards. Wizards, unfortunately, no one's going to go to Washington no matter how much money they have. The Wizards keep having bad luck during the draft. Until they get lucky and they're able to draft a true franchise player, not a John Wall. Cooper Flagg could be great, but
could be next year. There's a lot of those type of players available.
I'm not. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of BS this last few years. I keep hearing how I heard Zion Williamson was a no miss beyond no miss. Well, he missed. He missed bad. Cade Cunningham didn't have the Zion hype, but is he a first round pick or first overall pick? Really? And that year, yeah, but he's not a guy that's going to shift a franchise. It's not his game. He'll still be good, but he's not an all timer. You need an all timer to shift a franchise. Look at LeBron James when he went to Cleveland. I know Cleveland had a good run in the late '80s and early '90s. But other than that, they've been horrible since 1968, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but him, he's like Peyton Manning. He was like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, an abysmal franchise. The Indianapolis Colts, after Johnny Unitas retired, was an absolute, or left Baltimore at the time, was horrid for years. And even through all of those MVPs. He won 6 MVPs as a Colt. They still only won 1 championship. That's how bad that franchise is. That Peyton Manning, even though he shifted the narrative for them, still only ended up winning 1 championship. That team should have won 3, maybe 4 with that guy. So franchises that operate well, these guys know more than we do, which they do. They have more resources, right? They're in that position. They have more relationships. I get it, but I'll go back and forth on the fact that some of these guys aren't freaking clue what the hell they're doing sometimes. And that's not saying that we wouldn't screw up either. Everybody has made bad draft picks. But I don't remember anybody making those kind of trades that were.
No, but JHS we saw coming a mile away.
That one was
I forgot what Jeff thought about JHS. I don't think he liked him either, did he?
I think Jeff. The thing with Jeff is, I think Jeff has to be that way. He has to be the defender because I think in for his mental part, I think. Him understanding, him being supportive, I think that's probably something that helps him. And again, I'm not trying to speak for Jeff. I know Jeff probably has. No, Jeff has a red button. I've been with him a few times. I can see it, which is crazy too, because his parents are the nicest people I've ever seen in my life. And he sounds like he doesn't sound or look anything like them at all. So that we have a lot in common in that. I don't really sound like my a lot of people around me either. So, but the thing is with Jeff is, I think he'd rather have the air conditioner on. I enjoy the heat, even when it's hot.
Well, he gets feisty. He's been feisty past couple days.
Well, he's been feisty because freaking Dodgers are dog shit right now. 13 out of the last 18 have been losses.
And he's been a little feistier than as well as the Lakers too.
Yeah, well, the issue with the Dodgers isn't the fact that, let's hope that the slump is happening now versus late August. I'm sorry, late August and late September. That's not the point. This was supposed to be the most stacked baseball team ever assembled. And that's not hyperbole. That's not exaggerating it. These guys were stacked coming into the season. Shohei Ohtani took a $680 million deferment so that they can get stacked. This team should not be losing 13 of 18 at any time of the season at all. But they look like shit. And they're playing like a team that's not an all-timer. All will be forgotten if they turn it on at the right time and win it again. But this is baseball. This isn't all of a sudden Shaq and Kobe decide, you know what, we're going to play together as soon as the first round starts in the NBA playoffs, and then they don't look back. It doesn't work like that in baseball. This team needed to be good from beginning to end. So unless something drastically changes, unless they go into August and start running at least, I'm not joking when I say this, a 12-game straight streak, they risk not having the best record in the league, which means they may face someone that they have to face on the road. They're not really good on the road this year. So yeah, you're kind of playing with fire. And you can't blame Andrew Friedman. I see these Dodger fans. Dodger fans sometimes can be, I actually think Dodger fans are worse than Laker fans, which is crazy. They are so stupid in how they react to things. Absolutely just brainless. And I think Jeff's issues the last couple of days is probably because he's defending everyone. And that's the part that I've not talked to Jeff about yet. Because, we'll get on our roll and we'll do well. But really, Jeff, when you try to look at things, when you're the glass is half full guy, I'm not denigrating those guys. I'm just saying, when you live that life, at some point, you're going to be so thirsty that half full glass ain't half full. You want more. You ran more that day. You didn't drink earlier in the day. That thing has to be full for real to quench the thirst. So I'm a glass full guy, or it's empty. If it's fucking empty, sorry, I had to throw that in there. It just sounded too good. If it's empty, it's empty. If it's half full, it's half. If this shit ain't full, I'm thirsty. Why isn't it full? When somebody pours you a drink, they don't pour it halfway through. They pour it full. I'm using all the analogies, all the comparisons here so that everyone understands what we're saying. And for me, it's just much easier to live life just calling things what they are. At the expense of being called someone who sits on a couch versus someone who actually has the job. And I'll use the last comparison. Just because you've been plumbing for 20 years and you come to my house and you screw up my plumbing, doesn't mean I don't have the right to criticize you. Matter of fact, I have more of a right to criticize you. I've never been a plumber. Why I can't criticize the fact that you screwed up my plumbing? Oh, why? Because you've been doing it for 20 years? Because you're a plumber? Well, why the hell did you screw it up then? Rob Pelinka, you're the GM, right? How do you screw up that draft that bad? That was a bad one. That was an obvious one. That wasn't something where, man, there was no talent here. And I even gave him the benefit of the doubt. Hey, we didn't know Triple J was going to be good. We didn't know Podziemski was going to be good. I don't even bring those guys up usually. You do, and that's fine. I don't. Those guys were hindsight guys. But Cam Whitwer was not. That was the best player available at that time. Why are you not picking him? And then you ended up picking somebody who doesn't belong in the league. We do know our shit. We do. Well, I don't know how else to say it, but we do. We pay attention. We know what's going on. So there you go.
Before we head on out, though, the guys were asking for our top 10 small forwards. Let's just do top 5. Let's do top 5.
What's a small forward these days, though?
Yeah, I know.
There's positionless. This is a positionless game. If you want to talk about legitimate small forwards, like back in the day, you had LeBron, you had Durant. Those guys were legit small forwards.
Those are on my list.
Yeah,
I put Dr. J, Bird, and Elgin Baylor. I was thinking about it in my list. Those are my top 5. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Did you have anybody else in mind?
All time top 5. I always thought Dr. J was a 2, but he is a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a 3. Dr. J at 3. LeBron at 3. Durant at 3. Scottie Pippen. I'm going by guys I've watched play.
Worthy
is definitely there. Yeah.
Havlicek?
Didn't see Havlicek play.
Yeah, I saw him at the very, very tail end. Yeah, I can't really base off that either. But Baylor again, Baylor I've only seen with him and Havlicek. I've only seen footage and games from the past, so I have to base it off of that. But for me, Baylor over Havlicek, and then Dominique. I think people forget about Dominique. I really.
Are you sure he wasn't a 2?
No, Dominique was a 3. He's like 6'7", 6'8". He was a 3. Hey, man, that just before the injuries and age got to Dominique. Man, he was just something special in the 80s. I'll just leave it at that.
Kawhi, that's a good one, Legend. Thank you, Kawhi.
Kawhi, yeah, there you go.
Yes, thank you.
Good call, Legend. But yeah, if you could have seen just the sheer scoring ability from that guy. Where does Paul Pierce rank?
He's up there. He's good.
He's up there. In his mind, he's not. In his mind, Legend, he's number 1. So.
Well, what keeps him in the discussion is he was very clutch.
That's true.
His clutchness was as good as you probably could have had. Reggie Miller was a 2 or a 3.
He was also was he a 2? I think he was a 2. I think he transitioned to a 3 as he got older, Joe. But I think he started out.
Was Melo a 3 or a 4?
Melo was a 3, I think. That's a good question.
That's right around that phase where things started coming back and forth, I think.
Let me go look at his stats.
Like Worthy was a bona fide 3. Pippen was a bona fide 3. These guys were 3s, 100%. LeBron was a 3 in his like number 1 position.
He was a 3 for the first 10 years, 9 years of his career, and then he transitioned over back and forth between 3 and 4 for Carmelo. Guys how does Debbie Gibson get in our conversation? So you guys are crazy.
Somebody was talking about Debbie Gibson and Madonna.
I'd be going back in the 80s, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you this about Debbie Gibson versus Madonna. Debbie Gibson is 54, but isn't Madonna in her 70s now?
I think she's in her 60s. I think 60 still.
So she's 66.
No, Dominique is a small forward. He is listed at small forward every year of his career. I'm going to put up his basketball reference for you on that. Yeah, he's listed at small forward every year of his career.
I was going to say Debbie Gibson is less haggard. And that's sad to say because Madonna was one of the more beautiful people you could see, right? Back in her day.
Yep, this is true.
Someone had made a comment, and I have to agree. Did anyone think that Roseanne Barr would look better than Madonna 50 years later.
That was not on my bingo card.
Like you look at Roseanne. She had work done years ago. I remember that was more for self-hate because she had been someone, unfortunately, that had to deal with a lot of bad things growing up. But I look at Roseanne and I'm like, she looks at least normal. You look at Madonna, she looks like an alien. I don't know what the hell happened, but it didn't work.
Yeah, that work went wrong.
I mean, you have all that money. How the hell do you screw that up? But
do we think AD is a top 10 power forward of all time?
Probably not. Maybe top 15, maybe by the time his career is over, but top 10, I mean, I can probably list 10 of that.
Probably around 9 to 11, probably in that range.
Should have been. I'll tell you that. He should have been. But he's got a good resume still. He's won a championship in almost in every level. He made main level, the college. He's won an NBA title. He's won every international tournament. He's a winner. Hell of a career. First ballot Hall of Famer. But I think he should have been better. He should have been better.
And on that note, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. If you have your Lakers or movie questions or...
He got gypped, legend. He got gypped in 2020. That was his. And if it wasn't for COVID, the COVID break, I think he wins it.
Wow.
That was a horrible, one of the more horrible, and I hate the crap on Giannis for this, but it was a runaway too. It wasn't even close. AD won that award in December. And he got better.
Really good.
He got better after that on top of it. That should have been unanimous Defensive Player of the Year for AD in 2020. He got robbed. He got robbed like Kareem got robbed in 1974 for the MVP. Dave Collins won it that year.
So it is the Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully you will join us. We'll have shows periodically throughout the week. And then, of course, once Luka signs on the magical dotted line, most likely this time next week, we will go ahead and talk about that as well. So for Joe, by the way, Joe, any upcoming episodes on the Joe Soro channel that you got coming up?
Yes, I don't know what day yet, but there's going to be some things here in the next few weeks that are going to come about. I'll let you guys see it for yourselves. Some production upgrades. So stay tuned. They're coming.
And I'm planning a special show. I'm going to try and pin it down this week. Maybe that we should do it. Just try to get everybody together, the big four together, for us to go ahead and see what we can do to get that special show together.
The attention part of our shows probably needs a little bit of an increase.
There you go.
I don't want to saturate. That's always the tough part about all that. Do I saturate? Is it worth saturating? I have never felt that was the way to go. I like some anticipation. But maybe I don't know the market well enough to do that. We'll see.
But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. We'll keep you in tune with everything Lakers here going forward. Please put your comments below if you're watching this after the fact. Again, I have a Pop Culture Cosmos coming out on Monday as far as for all our audio listeners. But if you want to watch the video version, you can watch it after you watch this on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel on YouTube right now. Joe Soro, will you do an open panel StreamYard? Well,
no.
If you just want to... Okay.
I have my guys, and that's probably how it's going to be. But if you guys wanted to, there may be a call in type thing down the road where you can call in, but on the panel, no. A little different. I do things a little different on mine than Gerald. Gerald's a little more liberal with that, and that's great
and sometimes that's hit, and sometimes that's missed.
Yeah, sometimes that's good. But it's created funny stuff. It's created funny stuff. I would say the only time I would is if it was to really, really get an understanding of the differences of what's going on. You'd have to come up with something good, because most of the people that come on here, most of the people that get on TV, don't know how to talk. And you got to know how to talk. You got to know how to.
Because you're not just doing it one-to-one; you're doing it to translate that to an audience.
And you don't want to get on here. You don't want to get on here and not know how to speak, especially if you're going to be verbally combative too.
Because they're ruthless. The audience is ruthless.
A lot of people are ruthless when they're protected behind the screen. But can you protect yourself when someone is virtually in your face and able to talk back to you?
Yeah.
I don't want that to be that. I don't feel very good about some of the stuff I had to say and other things that we've done behind the scenes. That doesn't make me feel better, especially when it's someone that's inferior in terms of communication. I don't get my jollies off that. I like to go after those. I don't like fighting guys that are 5'6". If I'm 6'3", I'd rather fight someone who's 6'8". Not literally. I mean, I'm using an example here. It's why I don't. First of all, I hate fighting. Number one. The other thing is the reason why I don't fight is because most of the people in my areas have always been small. So what is that going to do? Well, what if they're this? What if they're fighters? What if they're boxers? Well, yeah, sure. But how often do you run into a boxer or someone who does MMA? It's very rare. Usually it's some clown. Usually it's some whatever that might do something. But then at the same time, I don't go anywhere and get bothered. That's one of the good things about my circles is I don't go anywhere to a bar. I don't go to places I know might cause problems. I don't go to cowboy places, not literal cowboy. Like I know where to go. That's a staple in my philosophy. Know where you are 100% of the time, and the number one thing is know where not to go. That's funny. I just had a memory of this. So my buddy and I, Edie is an African American. Okay. What I mean by that is he was born in Africa and became an American. It's like legit African American, right? And he's a dark black guy. So we go to, this is in San Diego. We go to In Cahoots in Mission Valley, which is the central area of San Diego. And I swear, man, I was like, where are we going? He goes, I got to go talk to Suzanne. She's at In Cahoots. I go, bro. And this is before we even got there. I said, bro, those guys don't want us there. I know it's San Diego and it's 2005. We're not in the 1960s, but I'm like, dude, I don't think those guys want us there. Man, we got there and he just went in to find her and get out. Dude, the guy at the door looked at us like parasites. Like, what the are you doing here? And we're like, hey man, we just want to go in and get our friend. He's like, all right. I said, I'm going to stay here. You can go ahead and go get her. I'm just going to stay here. So yeah, one of those times where you know this is not your place. Because the second a girlfriend, because my buddy is very charming, right? And he's got a good personality. He gets girls. Me, I'm not so direct, but at the same time, if I lock eyes with someone, how do I not know their cowboy boyfriend out of nowhere is going to go, hey, man, what the hell are you doing looking at my girl? I'm like, man, go sit down. Like, I know my response. I'll be like, shut the fuck up. Go sit down and go enjoy your line dancing while I have my drink here. So, and then, of course, that's going to cause a problem, right? So, yeah, nowhere not to be. But as far as the show, it would have to be something unique for anyone to come on. And you got to know what the hell you're saying. You gotta know how to talk.
Well, Johnny seems to think he does. If you take a look at the chat there, he says open panel on playback.
Playback. Oh, no. Yeah. Playback, you're free to do whatever you want there. Now, we have let people talk there and
go on stage
and fail miserably. But that's
Let's
different.
See what you got, Johnny.
That's different. This is different than a show. This is a show. This is the people want to know what they want to know, what they expect here, right? Well, on playback, you're watching a game and conversing with friends. So, Joe,
because
I'm from near Turlock, I can debate sports. Johnny, what part of Turlock? Where are you at near Turlock? Are you Ceres? Are you Delhi? Are you Merced? Where?
Don't put your full address on here, please.
No, it's okay.
By the way, I just put Joe Soro's playback channel, playback.tv/ the Joe Soro experiment. He does have shows because it's based off the Dodgers schedule. So if you want to catch the Dodgers with them and go on stage to talk to Joe, you can go ahead there if he'll let you on for stage. But yeah, I could definitely let you guys take a look at watch the game along with him. I will say that the Lakers Fast Break playback is obviously because there's no Lakers games going on. There's not much going on right now.
It's coming, it's coming.
There you go.
It's going to be a crazy season.
Let's hope so. But yes, the Joe Soro experiment is right there. Now you see.
Wow, there's a really nice picture of Debbie Gibson right now. I'm looking at. Holy crap!
Yeah, only in your dreams. Or that's Tiffany. Or is that Tiffany? No, it's that Debbie Gibson.
Tiffany's not bad either. She still looks good.
I told, as I was saying, they were the height of mall pop because they were doing their concerts at malls, at shopping malls throughout America.
Gerald, without all due respect to the mall girls pop, I prefer ladies like this and they're right.
Well, yeah, now they're now my age. They are my age. So
hey, we are at a good time in our in history right now. I mean, I'm looking at this 54-year-old. Unless there's a lot of, I guess they could have probably airbrushed a lot of things up, but I don't remember 54-year-olds like that when I was growing up. I don't remember that.
Exactly.
They don't look like this.
Well, Kylie Minogue would probably be my favorite from that period of time. I'll just leave it at that. She is from your neck of the woods, Xbox.
So Johnny, I was in Turlock and Fresno this last couple days. I was in Turlock on Friday, and then Fresno on Saturday, and then I slept in Fresno and woke up today and ended up leaving around 3:00 to get home. So I'm very familiar with Turlock and Fresno. I have very dear friends in both places still from school. Gerald, I have I guess it's been confirmed that there's going to be a 30-year reunion next year.
Wow.
30-year reunion. So it's getting put together. And I was telling my friend Tony, I was like, hey man, Tony, my friend, it was a cheerleader, a dancer, the whole 5 yards, 10 yards, 9 yards back in the day. And she's still in great shape. I said, look, she of course, girls always think that they're not in good shape. I said, listen, if you really think you're not in good shape, you have a year right now. Hit it, eat good. I've been in the zone here for about 6-7 months. I said I've been making sure that I did it this time without the crash diet. I made sure I did it in the normal sense. I go, by the time next year hits, I'll be yoked. I'll be yoked to the gills. And we'll go in there and we'll walk the house. I went to my 10-year, and my God, we should have. If I had known, we would have done a reality show for that. I would have had a camera around. My buddy destroyed one of the guys there, like in a like a busting chops way, because he jacked them when he was in school. Like they played a trick on him. They played tricks on this guy, and the story didn't come out till after I like weeks later. Like I ended up finding out that this guy, I guess, was getting divorced. He was depressed, went to the reunion to forget his ills. And then, of course, my buddy, who wasn't a bully or anything, he just, again, busted chops. Ended up busting his chops there, and it just destroyed his life even more. And he was a nice guy, but he was always like kind of like a wuss. So I was like, dude, girl, some balls for God's sakes. Learn how to take care of a woman. What the hell are you doing getting a divorce? What are you, 12? Like, how do you you got married, got divorced by the time you were 28? Like that's how we talk. That's how we think in our crew. So, yeah. So 30 years next year. Might have to do a show there and give a play-by-play of what everybody looks like after 30 years.
There you go. We'd love to see that indeed. But right now it is the Joe Soro channel on YouTube. Go ahead and check out the Experiment, Dodgers Fast Pitch, whenever he puts those out there. And then the Joe Soro Experiment, because I just looked it up, Joe. I always copy the paste. I never look at it. Avari left the experiment in there. So it's the Joe Soro Experiment on playback. So, yeah. Go ahead, check it out.
The experiment is something hilarious in terms of, now that I think about it, I was told to market myself. EJ had told me, hey, Joe, you need to market yourself, right? And I did. And then the experiment was supposed to
I told you that years ago.
Well, you told me that, but I meant the name. Like, I was going to call it something else. He said, no, use your name. Well, what ended up happening was, without thinking, I put the experiment on there as a period. And then when I started reading it more and more, I'm like, wait a minute, this should be the name of the show. The Experiment is actually a good name. So there's going to be the marketing around the show is going to be more of the Experiment. It just sounds more catchy. And then the production value will match that.
Sounds good indeed.
That's the plan here.
Absolutely.
I did see. I mean, I saw the oil rigs today when I was passing by. They have them in the brush with all the things that they're growing over there. Yeah, Bakersfield is it's like a larger Fresno or something that doesn't really. Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. I know exactly what he's talking about, indeed. But of course, it is, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. We'll be back for more episodes this week. Don't you dare miss them. Make sure you like and subscribe. So for Joe Soro, it's me, Gerald Glassford. Appreciate you listening to all of our babbling on and on about the Lakers, about movies, about TV, about life, about Fresno, about California, about all that good stuff. Can't get anywhere else, but you always get it here, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Oh, we even talked about 80s pop stars.
Yeah, I don't think we veered off in the movies before like this.
That was good.
That was the first time.
Really good. I wish Happy Gilmore too had been good.
Yeah.